Boom! The police storm into the bank, guns at the ready, surrounding a black man just for trying to open a safe deposit box. Colonel Marcus Johnson, a Navy SEAL hero, stands there with unshakable dignity, while Emily Whitaker, the white bank manager, smirks smugly, convinced she's protecting security. But the moment the door swings open, Admiral Ethan Blackwell, a legendary SEAL general, strides in, silencing the entire room. This twist of justice will give you chills. Before diving into this gripping real-life drama of racial bias, comment below if you've ever witnessed similar injustice. Hit like if you believe prejudice must be defeated, and subscribe to see the ending that leaves the wrongdoer speechless if you exit this video now. You'll miss a life-changing lesson that will forever shift how you view the world.
Alright, before you settle in, take a sec to like the video and subscribe, but only if you're genuinely vibing with what I'm putting out here. And drop a comment below letting me know where you're watching from and what time it is for you. It's always a thrill to see who's joining us from all corners of the globe.
Imagine yourself as a battlefield hero, blood and sweat spilled to defend your country, only to walk into a bank and be viewed as a fraudster solely because of your skin color. That is the piercing stab slicing into the pride of Colonel Marcus Johnson, 62 years old, who has dedicated 34 years to the United States Navy, as he steps into White Oak National Bank in Willowbrook, a luxurious suburb in Texas. His posture remains as straight as during his SEAL training days, the small SEAL insignia on his Navy jacket gleaming under the sunlight flooding the vast marble-floored lobby, reflecting the unyielding honor of a soldier who has faced death without flinching. But today, that light seems insufficient to dispel the shadow of prejudice lying in wait. Marcus arrives to open the safe deposit box, where shimmering metals and precious documents are stored for an upcoming ceremony, a special event honoring Black SEAL soldiers forgotten by history, those who fought bravely but were stripped of recognition solely because of their skin color. The bank bustles with the whispers of customers, transactions echoing like the rhythm of financial stability. Crystal chandeliers hang high, sparkling like stars, the polished walnut furniture exuding an air of power and tradition. Marcus waits patiently in line, his gaze sweeping over the opulent scene, where everything appears designed to celebrate trustworthiness. But he knows that trustworthiness is often not extended to people like him. When his turn comes, he is led to the office of Emily Whitaker, the 1-year-old bank manager, who carries the perfect appearance of an heir to a prestigious Texas real estate family. Her brown hair is neatly pinned up, her tailored gray suit hugging her form, silver earrings glistening as if to display absolute confidence. But Emily's smile, as Marcus enters, is as cold as a winter wind, lacking any warmth of welcoming a longtime customer. She has no military experience, no understanding of the significance of the insignias on Marcus's jacket, symbols of sacrifice for which he has shed blood to earn. Marcus places the stack of documents on the desk with the precision of a seasoned soldier, accustomed to strict protocols. The veteran ID card and safe deposit box paperwork are arranged neatly, like an affirmation of dignity. He speaks, his voice deep and clear, stating that he needs to open the safe deposit box. But Emily merely glances at the papers, her eyes shifting from indifference to suspicion. She holds the veteran ID card by her fingertips, as if it might soil her meticulously manicured nails. Her face hardens, her voice carrying a subtle sharpness. These documents do not look like the standard format. She asks, with an underlying accusation, whether Marcus is sure he is at the right bank. The weight of racial discrimination presses on Marcus's chest like a familiar boulder. He has heard similar phrases throughout his life, seemingly harmless terms that conceal deep-seated prejudice. "I have been a customer here for 16 years, he replies, his voice calm but his eyes flashing a hint of pain. Memories flood back, times he was denied promotions despite graduating top of his SEAL class. Times his commands were questioned by white subordinates solely because he is black. Times he was suspected right on his own military base. He has had to excel twice as much, work twice as hard, to receive half the recognition." Emily squints, flipping through the papers with excessive scrutiny, as if searching for a minor flaw to validate her suspicions. There have been many military fraud activities lately, she says, her tone full of implication. We have to be careful. That coded language is not unfamiliar to Marcus. They are invisible daggers, concealed under the guise of procedure. Customers around, mostly white in business attire or upscale casual wear, begin to notice. Their eyes, curious mixed with suspicion, pierce like needles into his self-respect. From the teller counter, Kevin Thompson, a young black employee, observes with evident discomfort, his gaze shifting between Marcus and Emily, as if he too has tasted similar injustice. Marcus stands there, his posture still resolute, but his heart heavy. He knows this moment is not just a misunderstanding, it is part of the battle he has fought his entire life, not on the battlefield but in everyday spaces, where his presence is questioned solely because of his skin color. But could this time, a simple errand turn into a larger nightmare? If you have ever felt suspected just for being yourself, what would you do when facing such prejudiced eyes? Comment below and stay to see how this story of justice will give you chills like never before. Missing it means you'll regret it for life. Alright, before you settle in, take a sec to like the video and subscribe, but only if you're genuinely vibing with what I'm putting out here. And drop a comment below letting me know where you're watching from and what time it is for you. It's always a thrill to see who's joining us from all corners of the globe. When bias transforms into a weapon, an ordinary errand can turn into a battlefield, and Colonel Marcus Johnson is standing right on the edge. Just minutes ago, he confronted the cold, suspicious stare of Emily Whitaker, the bank manager, as she held his SEAL veteran card like a piece of counterfeit junk. Now, in the lavish marble lobby of White Oak National Bank in Willowbrook, Texas, the atmosphere grows stifling, as if the entire room is holding its breath before a storm about to unleash. Emily's suspicion doesn't halt at words, it rapidly escalates into perilous action, propelling Marcus into a scenario he's all too familiar with, being treated like an outcast in the very nation he bled to protect. Emily shuffles Marcus's documents on the desk, her eyes gliding over them without genuine focus, as if she had already predetermined they weren't credible. Her meticulously cared-for hands pause, not to examine more thoroughly, but to bolster her prejudice. She murmurs about the papers not matching the records, and suggests Marcus speak to another manager, her tone icy like an order. Marcus nods, preserving the composure of a soldier who has faced enemy fire, but inwardly, he senses the weight of racial discrimination, an invisible foe he has battled his whole life. Through the office glass, he sees Emily depart, but instead of seeking a colleague, she hastens to a hidden corner, phone in hand, her gestures restless like someone initiating a hazardous scheme. The security guard, a robust man with a buzz cut, shifts his position, his piercing eyes fixing on Marcus, as if he were a threat requiring vigilance. Just 12 minutes later, the bank's main door bursts open, revealing two officers in deep blue uniforms. Officer Ramirez, a tall white man with an imposing demeanor, takes the lead, his right hand resting lightly near his holster, as if prepared for a tense confrontation. Following is Officer Lee, younger, with a fleeting expression of unease, as if detecting the irregularity of the situation. The customers' murmurs in the lobby instantly cease, all eyes converging on Marcus, who remains standing tall, unyielding. Emily emerges from the back office, pointing at him with an intentionally exaggerated look of worry. Her accusation rings out like a bullet, sharp and public. Marcus is using forged military documents. That statement lingers in the air, contaminating the surrounding space, transforming a former SEAL into the centerpiece of suspicion before everyone's gaze. Marcus rises, his demeanor serene like a soldier gearing up for combat, but his heart burdened. He retrieves his driver's license and military retirement card from his wallet, presenting them with the accuracy of someone versed in protocols. But Emily interrupts, her voice sharp as a blade. His signature doesn't match the records. That allegation, though minor, slices even deeper into Marcus's self-respect. He feels the weight of the past, surging back the days of graduating top of his SEAL class, but being relegated to administrative duties. The times commanding a unit but having orders challenged by white subordinates solely because of his skin color, The instances of being halted at his own military base just for being black. He has had to excel twice as hard, sacrifice twice as much, to earn half the acknowledgement. But here, in the bank's opulent setting, all those medals, all those years of service, seem valueless before Emily's prejudiced stare. From the fringe of the crowd, an older white veteran, donning a faded seal cap, observes everything with a keen eye, as if recognizing something familiar. Marcus catches that glance, a faint glimmer of hope amid the tempest of suspicion. But Emily, with a smug smirk brimming with conceit, persists in her assault when Marcus mentions Admiral Ethan Blackwell, who will attend the veteran ceremony. She ridicules, her voice laced with sarcasm, that he dares claim acquaintance with a legendary SEAL general. Those words strike like a blow to Marcus's dignity, but he stands resolute, military discipline restraining him from retorting with the rage he rightfully harbors. When the police demand Marcus exit the bank to resolve the issue, he realizes this errand has evolved into another struggle, not with guns, but with prejudice deeply ingrained in society. Have you ever been thrust into suspicion solely for being yourself? If you've ever felt the burden of biased eyes, comment below. Stay to witness the explosion of justice that silences the wrongdoer. Missing it means you'll regret it for life when the unexpected twist is about to alter everything. In the shadow of suspicion and racial discrimination enveloping everything, a sudden ray of comradeship flashes brightly, proving that battlefield brotherhood can transcend all barriers. Just seconds ago, Colonel Marcus Johnson had stood there in the lobby of White Oak National Bank in Willowbrook, Texas, with the weight of the past crushing his chest and the police's demand to leave echoing like an unjust verdict. The atmosphere is tense like a string about to snap, as Officer Ramirez and Officer Lee flank him, hands near their holsters, turning a former SEAL into the center of public humiliation. But in that moment of despair, a stranger, or rather, a comrade from the past becomes a hero, stepping out from the crowd to alter the flow of events. Sergeant Robert Hayes, a 6'6" white Navy veteran, wearing his weathered old SEAL cap, moves with the cautious demeanor of someone who has endured decades of training and combat. His face is rugged, his silver hair cropped short, and his upright posture exudes unmistakable discipline. He had inadvertently witnessed the entire incident from the edge of the crowd, his sharp eyes recognizing the insignia on Marcus's jacket symbols. Not everyone understands, but to him, they are marks of truth. Robert steps forward, his voice stern cutting through the stifling air, affirming that he recognizes Colonel Johnson from the insignia and demeanor. He declares Marcus is genuine, and they had coordinated in the Mosul operation in 2005, where bombs and ambushes were everyday occurrences. Emily Whitaker, her face darkening beneath her flawless makeup, tries to dismiss Robert's words, arguing that he cannot be certain about the authenticity of the documents or identity. But Robert, with the calm of someone who has faced death, turns to look at her, his gaze sharp like a steel blade. He asserts that after 28 years of service, he can recognize true comrades when he sees them. Those insignias aren't something bought in a store, they are the result of blood, sweat, and sacrifice on the battlefield. His words are not just testimony, they are a reminder of the true value of service, a value that Emily, with her background far removed from the military, cannot comprehend. Marcus, standing there with unshakable dignity, looks at Robert more closely and recognizes him. Hayes from Battalion 3, SEAL Team 7, in Mosul. Memories flood back like a war film. Marcus leading the rescue team, plunging into the rubble under intense fire to pull Robert and his teammates from an ambush. They had never worked directly together, but in Iraq's brutal combat environment, their units had crossed paths, and Marcus's brave action had saved many lives, including Robert's. That moment of recognition brings a warm breeze amid the cold storm of prejudice, proving that comradeship can surpass skin color, linking soldiers despite differing origins. Emily, feeling her power challenged, accuses them of colluding, her voice full of sarcasm as if two veterans were plotting some elaborate scam. But that accusation only stirs the crowd to murmur in support, the bank's atmosphere shifting noticeably. The white customers, initially gazing with suspicious eyes, now show fleeting confusion and shame, realizing the absurdity in Emily's actions. The police, hesitating before Robert's convincing testimony, exchange uneasy glances, while additional patrol cars park outside the glass doors, adding more pressure. Now Marcus and Robert stand side by side, two veterans of different skin colors but bound by the unbreakable thread of comradeship. Emily demands they be escorted out, her voice ringing with false authority, but Robert pulls out his phone, whispering that it will only take 5 minutes. That gesture, calm and confident, is like a signal that rescue is on the way. Marcus whispers thanks, his deep voice carrying profound gratitude, but Robert just shakes his head, affirming that comrades never abandon each other. In that stifling space, Robert's appearance is not just a testimony, it is proof of the power of military loyalty, a core value of America that audiences everywhere, from Texas to Washington, hold in reverence. But will the rescue, Robert promises, arrive in time, before everything collapses completely? If you've ever witnessed a stranger become an ally in a tough moment, comment below. Stay to discover the twist of justice about to make you gasp missing. It means you'll regret it forever, because this true hero story will change how you view prejudice for good. As Robert Hayes's flicker of comradeship falters under the weight of police pressure and prejudice, a living legend storms in, upending the power dynamics like a hurricane of justice. Moments ago, Colonel Marcus Johnson and Sergeant Robert Hayes stood united in the lobby of White Oak National Bank in Willowbrook, Texas, with extra patrol cars outside, intensifying the suffocating tension. Robert's whispered, "Rescue," lingers, but the air crackles with impending chaos. The Texas heat slams like an invisible barrier as the veterans are ushered to the parking lot, encircled by police with wary eyes, turning a simple errand into a stark emblem of racial discrimination entrenched in American life. Marcus, his dignity unbowed despite a burdened heart, pulls his phone from his jacket, calling his son Daniel, a 37-year-old Texas civil rights lawyer famed for battling injustice. His voice, steady yet urgent from years leading under fire, demands Daniel's immediate presence at the bank. Daniel, choosing law over military service, knows this rare call signals severity. Marcus trusts that in such moments, justice through law outshines bullets. The parking lot transforms into a dramatic stage, patrol cars forming a crescent, drawing onlookers' stares from passers-by and cafe patrons. Officers Ramirez and Lee flank Marcus, poised for action, Ramirez stern, Lee hesitant. Marcus feels the heavy gaze of bystanders, some avoiding eye contact, others staring with pity or curiosity. A few exiting customers murmur support, like an elderly white woman whispering, "This is wrong." Through the glass, Emily Whitaker directs staff with sharp gestures, her confidence unshaken despite the rising stakes. 20 minutes later, a Channel 5 news van roars in, reporter Angela Ramirez emerging with a cameraman, her gaze sharp as a seasoned journalist. She swiftly targets Marcus, probing the denial of a SEAL veteran's safe deposit box access. Officer Ramirez intervenes, claiming a police investigation, but Angela insists on the public's right to know about a hero treated as a criminal. Marcus, weighing his words, speaks with measured weight, a 16-year bank customer, here for veteran ceremony documents, yet his military ID was doubted without verification. His statement, caught on camera, amplifies the injustice, framing it as part of daily prejudice against Black Americans. Emily steps out, anxious yet defending the bank's uniform security protocols. Angela challenges if these truly apply equally, exposing Emily's faltering insistence that race is irrelevant, revealing her bias. The crowd whispers, some embarrassed by the media spotlight. Abruptly, a sleek, government-plated SUV arrives, followed by Daniel's car. Two suited security agents scan the scene, prompting police to stiffen. Daniel, briefcase in hand, declares himself Marcus's lawyer, questioning the veteran's detention without charges. Marcus senses a shift from victim to the heart of a turning tide. Robert whispers, "The rescue is here." The SUV door opens, revealing Admiral Ethan Blackwell, 67, Navy SEAL legend, his uniform gleaming with medals from decades of service. His towering presence hushes the lot. Embracing Marcus, his voice acknowledges a document mix-up, vouching for their 40-year shared service. His gaze sweeps over Emily, paling her, as he demands to meet her, the police stepping back in the face of his authority. Will Emily confess her error before this iconic general, or cling to bias? If you've longed for an ally in crisis, comment below. Stay for the justice explosion that'll shake the guilty, miss it, and you'll regret missing a transformative twist forever. From the moment Admiral Ethan Blackwell's commanding presence flips the script in the parking lot, turning Emily Whitaker from accuser to accused, the truth surges forth like a relentless flood, washing away the facade hiding deep-rooted prejudice. Just minutes earlier, Colonel Marcus Johnson endured the scorching Texas sun, Blackwell's endorsement echoing as a bold declaration of justice that compels the police to retreat and leaves Emily ashen-faced under the legendary SEAL's piercing stare. Now, inside the office of White Oak National Bank in Willowbrook, Texas, what was once Emily's stronghold transforms into an open tribunal, where the repercussions of racial bias unfold vividly before witnesses, delivering a deep, gratifying vindication for countless Americans who faced parallel wrongs nationwide. Blackwell spearheads the entry, his figure a towering emblem of military might, ribbons and medals on his SEAL uniform narrating decades of command and sacrifice that demand respect. Marcus trails behind, his unyielding dignity intact amid the echoes of recent degradation. Daniel, his son, grips a briefcase with the assured poise of a lawyer versed in dismantling discrimination through the courts. Robert Hayes closes ranks, his keen gaze underscoring that true camaraderie extends beyond mere words. Emily, positioned behind her massive desk, clings to composure, yet her features betray a shift from arrogance to apprehension, like a hunter abruptly hunted. With a resonant, unwavering tone, Blackwell probes straight to the core. Why question Colonel Johnson after 16 loyal years? His sweeping glance appraises her like a general surveying terrain, eliciting Emily's faltering defenses about escalating military scams and inconsistent signatures. Her rationale rings hollow, a fragile mask over entrenched bias, but Blackwell permits no evasion. Emotion infusing his voice, he relives Baghdad 2003, a night of ferocious artillery, an IED shattering their convoy. Marcus, a major then, dove into the inferno, extracting Blackwell and hauling him a mile through bullet storms despite grievous wounds. This isn't mere recollection, it's testament to valor and devotion, Emily presumed to doubt, kindling fierce patriotic pride in American hearts that revere figures like Marcus. The revelations deepen as the door flies open, admitting James Caldwell, the regional director, his expression etched with dismay. Summoned by urgent alerts, Blackwell's iconic stature advisor to presidents underscores the crisis's magnitude. Caldwell voices profound regret for the fiasco, his gaze piercing Emily with evident reproach. He demands answers. Why summon police over routine verification or contacting him? His query cuts sharply through Emily's dwindling assurance. She counters, voice pitching higher, insisting on protocol adherence, but Caldwell dismisses it, unveiling tablet records 9 analogous cases yearly, all minority-related. Kevin Thompson, the young black teller who'd eyed the scene uneasily, advances, voice quivering yet resolute. He discloses Emily's pattern of scrutinizing black and Latino clients, records he'd maintained spotting the disparity. Kevin's disclosure detonates slowly, crimsoning Emily's face in fury and mortification, but Caldwell signals quiet, highlighting whistleblower safeguards. He mandates Emily's instant leave pending probe, directing her to pack up. She bolts upright, protesting vehemently about her complaint-free 6-year tenure, but Caldwell refutes, exposing localized cover-ups. Marcus, absorbing it all, senses justice's fulfillment, not vengeance, but a pivotal stride toward transformation. Escorted to the vault, he accesses the box holding treasured medals and papers, emblems of overlooked black veterans. The office, formerly a humiliation arena, now stages prejudice's downfall, instilling optimism for kindred sufferers across America. But is this fallout merely the dawn of a grander upheaval transcending one person? If you've fantasized about evildoers' comeuppance, comment below. Linger to unearth the systemic shift that'll prompt introspection, skip it, and you'll rue missing this tale of bravery and duty, reshaping your societal perspective eternally. When the immediate consequences of the incident force Emily Whitaker to pay a price, and Colonel Marcus Johnson opens his safe deposit box, the ripple of justice begins to spread from a personal ordeal into a storm of societal change, igniting hope for forgotten heroes and stirring the American spirit of true equality. Just hours after Emily is placed on administrative leave in the office of White Oak National Bank in Willowbrook, Texas, and the complaint records are exposed like a stark warning, the bank's leadership pledges profound reforms, transforming a mistake into an opportunity for redemption. These commitments are not mere words, they are proof of the power of accountability, a core American value where justice is not an endpoint but a starting point for systemic change. White Oak National Bank, under pressure from the media and the towering presence of Admiral Ethan Blackwell, announces mandatory anti-bias training for all employees, from top executives to tellers, aimed at rooting out implicit prejudice in daily operations. They revise security protocols, adding clear safeguards to prevent discrimination based on race, ensuring every customer is treated equally, a step that Marcus, with his unwavering dignity, sees as a true victory for those who have endured similar injustices. Kevin Thompson, the young black teller who bravely spoke out, is promoted to assistant manager, becoming a symbol of personal courage, sparking pride in American audiences for everyday heroes who stand up against the system. Marcus, having retrieved the medals and documents from the safe deposit box, begins preparing for the White House ceremony, a historic event honoring black veterans forgotten by history, those who sacrificed for their country but were denied recognition due to their skin color. Under the shimmering crystal chandeliers of the East Room, Marcus stands at the podium, presenting medals of honor to families of heroes from the Korean War, his voice deep yet compelling, declaring that today is not just about him but about a system that still doubts their presence. Each medal handed out is like a belated correction, evidence of extraordinary bravery buried under the dust of prejudice, prompting the crowd, including veterans, victims' families, and officials to erupt in resounding applause, with media coverage amplifying it as a reminder of America's long journey toward equality. Blackwell, standing beside Marcus, whispers that this event underscores that prejudice persists but can be defeated through persistent action. His words, steeped in the authority of a SEAL legend, evoke reflection in American audiences who take pride in their military history but also acknowledge unhealed wounds. White Oak Bank, to atone, issues a public apology through a press release, admitting fault and pledging to establish a scholarship fund for minority students pursuing finance careers, turning the incident into a source of positive inspiration for future generations. These changes ripple outward, from the Texas branch to national discussions, where the incident sparks thousands of similar stories on social media, from black professionals questioned at high-end stores to Latino customers facing unfair scrutiny. Marcus, in his new role on a Veterans Committee, pushes for better protections, offering hope to those who have felt the daily weight of bias. The incident's legacy is not just justice for one man, it is a call for collective action, proving that in America, the land of equal dreams, a moment of injustice can become a catalyst for monumental change, igniting optimism and responsibility in viewers' hearts. But how will the true legacy of this incident reshape society in the long run as these reforms spread nationwide? If you've ever dreamed of a world where justice triumphs over prejudice, comment below. Stay to uncover the final lesson about transformative power. Miss it, and you'll regret it forever. For this inspiring story will change how you view hope and action for good. The ordeal of Colonel Marcus Johnson ignites a firestorm of justice, transforming a personal injustice into a legacy of societal change that inspires hope across America. 1 week after Emily Whitaker's administrative leave and the exposure of complaint records at White Oak National Bank in Willowbrook, Texas, Marcus faces the bank's leadership in a downtown meeting. Joined by Admiral Ethan Blackwell and his son Daniel, a renowned civil rights lawyer, their presence forces profound reforms: an anti-discrimination committee, regular complaint audits to uncover bias, and mandatory equity training for all staff. These steps prove a single incident can spark systemic change, stirring pride in Americans for collective accountability. Emily, once a local power figure, is fired after an investigation, her name a symbol of prejudice's consequences, a warning to those hiding bias behind protocol. Her downfall spreads virally on social media, with thousands sharing similar stories. Black professionals scrutinized at upscale stores, Latinos facing unfair bank checks, Middle Eastern travelers singled out at airports. Marcus's experience becomes a beacon, exposing daily racial discrimination, resonating from Texas to New York. Marcus, unwavering in dignity, joins a White House Veterans Committee, advocating for fairer policies for minority veterans, from VA benefits to everyday protections. His role inspires young Americans to envision true equality. Veterans, including Robert Hayes, form a support network aiding bias victims with legal and career support, transcending racial divides. Blackwell meets banking leaders, urging nationwide protocol reviews to eliminate systemic bias. At the White House, under glittering chandeliers, Marcus awards medals of honor to families of forgotten Korean War heroes, his voice affirming their excellence despite historical denial due to race. The crowd's thunderous applause and media coverage mark a historic correction, blending national pride with reflection on ongoing injustices. Blackwell whispers that prejudice persists but can be defeated through action, resonating with Americans proud of their military yet aware of societal flaws. White Oak Bank apologizes publicly, launching a scholarship fund for minority finance students, turning error into opportunity. Emily, isolated in her apartment, watches the ceremony on television, her regret palpable as her name becomes synonymous with bias. Marcus mentors a young Black SEAL trainee, affirming dignity as the ultimate weapon against prejudice through excellence and unity. From a morning of suspicion, the incident proves that in America, collective action can conquer prejudice, offering hope for a just future. How will this legacy reshape society long term? If you've seen someone turn shame into strength, comment below. Stay for the final lesson on justice, miss it, and you'll regret missing a story that redefines dignity forever. This story shows dignity transforms racial bias. Marcus's ordeal reveals daily prejudice, cloaked in security, targeting people of color. Even SEAL heroes aren't immune. Allies Robert, Kevin, Blackwell, Daniel drive change. Accountability is key. Emily loses everything. Systemic reform needs courage and collective effort. Marcus's stand benefits millions. Have you faced bias where you should feel safe? Share below. If you believe fighting injustice takes individuals and systems, like to support. Subscribe for more heroic stories. Share to fuel discussion for a fairer society. Thank you. Let's turn pain into a justice movement.